I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you have a good man in your life, hold on to him. And what I mean by a good man is not a man who's perfect, but a man who is hardworking and willing to do anything to make you happy.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll see women wondering why men don't approach them. Also, why dates nowadays are a failure, how they ruin love for everyone. We invite you to hit that like button. Let's support the movement. Subscribe to the channel. That's the only contribution we ask from you guys. Add your grain of sand to the movement. Leave your experience in the comments for any man who needs it. And without further introduction, let's begin.
Women need to start making the first move. If anyone wants to be in a relationship, that's absolutely what has to happen. It just has to happen. Guys in the comments, back me up on this. We have told men for years that their masculinity is toxic. Some men, as they got interested in dating, that's literally all they know, is to stay away from women, is to not bother them, and definitely don't approach them. So there is nothing wrong with a woman approaching a man. That shows confidence. And you know what? I don't even know if this stat is true. I didn't do much research into this, but I did see that 86% of women who make the first move end up married. So, I mean, come on, that's pretty good. I mean, I don't even care if that's not even a true statistic. Hell, let's run with that. But guys, back me up in the comments. Say, yeah, you would love that. Or women say, yeah, I made the first move and I'm now engaged, married, whatever. I'm telling you, that's just the way it's got to be. You don't have to like it. I mean, I'm sure guys didn't like when they were being called, when their masculinity, when their whole being was called toxic. They didn't like that. So start making the first move. And again, you don't have to like it. You don't have to like having to make the first move. You could still have a traditional relationship after that. This is just getting you in a damn relationship. And as far as, you know, not liking things, I do things every day that I don't like to do, but it makes me a better person, gets me to my goals. So these are just facts, okay? Women, make the first move.
Women don't make the first move because they fear rejection. Women don't know how to tolerate rejection like men do. We've been rejected for years, and honestly, after a while, you get used to it. It's part of being a man. But before, it was just simple rejection, nothing more. Today, it's a harassment accusation. As a man, watching video after video of women talking about toxic masculinity, saying that even a man breathing is a red flag, that only men with certain qualities can approach them. Women talked badly about men until we ended up with this mess. Women made their beds, now they have to lie in them. Chivalry is dead, to the point that we don't do any of that anymore. Want a date? Then you approach. Want a fancy dinner? Pay half. Open your own door. We don't give flowers. We're tired of being the chivalrous type for women who don't appreciate anything you do for them. So learn to make the first move. The era of the soft boys has arrived. Drizzle, drizzle.
Why men don't approach women anymore. So historically, women have always waited for men to make the first move. Is he going to go in for the kiss? Is he going to hold my hand? But now, whenever I talk to my friends about their dating history, all I hear them talking about is, oh, he hasn't made a move. He's not doing anything. We're not moving forward. So on the flip side of this normally ends up in men feeling like they're getting ghosted, or that there's just being told there's no spark. And from what I'm hearing from a lot of my clients, it's not because that you're not attracted to her. It's more about fearing that you're either going to get rejected, maybe you're going to get turned down, you know, slapped in the face when you go for that first move, or even worse, like getting in trouble with the law. So you need to ask yourself, does this sound like you? The truth is, you probably missed that golden opportunity to create that spark. And she likely was giving you signals that you just didn't quite catch.
And why doesn't she make the move to kiss that man? Oh, right, you'll surely say, he's the man. He should make the first move. But don't you advocate for equality? Oh, right, that only works when it's convenient for you. Because if you like him, how hard is it to go give him a kiss? As I said, you reap what you sow. It's not that men stop being masculine or are afraid to make a move because of women. It's because they're afraid of a false accusation. In a country where even with evidence, a man still has to prove his innocence, How can you not be insecure about doing something that might make a woman uncomfortable? When a woman only has to accuse you of something, and you end up spending months in jail while the case is investigated. Today, a man carrying a phone with a camera to record everything might be the only way to avoid having his life ruined.
Oh, this one's going to ruffle some feathers, but I'm going to be completely honest.
So what I'd like to know, in this dating world for people like over 50, like, have men just kind of given up with the trying to date and the courting and all that?
The short and sweet answer to your question is yes. Yes, they have. They've given up. They're done. They're walking away.
Is it so bad out there, like, that you guys have just given up?
No, bad doesn't even begin to cover it. Toxic, we could start with that.
Because, like, everybody I talk to says they go out on a date, and if the guy's buying dinner, then by the end of the night, he's saying, well, like, if I buy dinner, then I expect to have sex.
And there it is. Everybody you talk to, my gut feeling is, and I think it's obvious, everybody means women. Not men, women. And you're making assumptions based on what women are telling other women men are thinking, instead of listening to men.
First of all, as if, motherfuckers, like, that ain't happening.
And there's that toxicity I mentioned earlier. As if. Your assumption is that that's what all men are thinking and wanting. That's not the reality, but that's what you're working from. That's the premise. So why would any man, a good man, ever put himself in that position when the first response you're going to have is as if? Are there cads out there, guys, who would do that? Sure there are, but they are few and far between. But that doesn't matter. What matters is you're going to apply that label to every single man. And then, of course, there's the other side of it. There's women who try and sleep with men on the first date, but we don't talk about them. We label all men, but if you mention even one woman, it's but, it's not us. It's not fair to label all of us like that. It's a huge double standard. And speaking of double standards...
Okay, now if you put on your profile, I am not interested in a relationship, and if I buy you dinner, I would like to have sex at the end of the evening. Hey, good on you.
Seriously, you actually think guys would do that? Some guys might. Not the guys you want, or is it? Because the guys that would do that, they're the ones with the six-figure incomes, the six-pack abs, the 6-inch you-know-what. And they do that because they can, because they know women will respond to that. The average decent guy, the ones you claim you want, the ones you reject out of hand because they don't fit the sixes, they're not going to post something like that because that's not their expectation.
Oh, I love puppies and picnics in the park, and then you take somebody to dinner and you pull that shit, well, you know what? You're just a dumbass.
And there's the final clue for you. You assume that all guys are like that, so therefore all men are dumbasses. Why would any man want to date someone who thinks that way? That would be pure insanity on his part. It's why men are walking away. They're done, not just over 50, but at any age.
She described a classic Chad, a man who brings nothing to the table except his seed. If she described one of those men who always has women at his feet, who will get action on the first date, she says it's always the man who suggests intimacy. But with those six-figure, six-pack guys in the top 20%, it's the women who try to take them to bed to see if he'll stay with them. But remember, my friend, only children, women, and animals receive unconditional love. Men are measured by the same standard. Because a minority of men receive sex on the first date, now it means all men are toxic? Instead of evaluating what types she's trying to pursue, because unfortunately, Chad won't go out unless he gets something in return. One thing these men don't do is pay for free dinners.
What happened to men pursuing girls?
Are we really asking this question?
When was the pivotal moment that a man chose to not go after a girl anymore and put in any effort?
I don't think there was a pivotal moment. However, there's been lots of little moments that have added up to a large awakening of a lot of men in regards to whether or not it's worth it to chase women.
Seems like guys can just put the bare minimum and not even really put in effort anymore. They don't really care to.
Well, what's considered to be the bare minimum seems to change on a daily basis, so how can anyone truly know what the bare minimum even is?
They're like, why don't girls just go and make the first move and make the effort?
That's an excellent question. Indeed. Why don't they?
Did it become a thing? Now it's like role reversal where they expect girls to be making the first moves, yearning for a guy and chasing him.
I imagine that happened somewhere around the same time that a lot of women were indicating to men that they want them to leave them alone. So, in a lot of cases, they got exactly what they asked for.
That is, I feel like, the downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone, because men don't put in effort anymore and don't care to put in effort.
But why should they? When the possible benefits of pursuing a woman are often far outweighed by the risks that they undertake in pursuing those same women. It's honestly just not worth it for a lot of men to pursue women, especially when so many women want to be seen as independent and left alone.
Totally agree with her. I love this woman's message. But as I said, they made their bed. Now they have to lie in it. You wanted peace, for men to stay away. Now that you've got what you asked for, you feel scared because you don't know how to live without men's attention. Now you're afraid of rejection. But what you fear most is losing the privileges men gave you when they pursued you. Of course, there's the typical woman who was taken on trips, given gifts, had expensive dinners paid for, and was given iPhones. She received princess treatment from simps without giving anything in return or doing anything for those men. Now she sees that her pretty face isn't yielding results as men have moved on from her, and she panics. Adding to this, as years go by, she needs to secure a beta provider for long-term financial security. And above all, there's the fear of the wall, because we all know the wall doesn't forgive.
This is why men don't pursue women anymore. Because so many men are on dating apps nowadays, it has given them this illusion of an unlimited choice in women. So when men go out to bars or restaurants, they're not pursuing women anymore because they know that when they go home, they will have the backup of the dating app.
If only dating apps worked that way for men, they actually work like that for women. Because the reality is, men could swipe all day, swiping like on all of those women. And he is lucky to get 1 or 2 matches. Men stop pursuing women because us ladies told them to stop. We complained every single time a man has approached us. We have done things like give him our boyfriend's number, or yell at him, or overall show that we're bothered by him approaching. And a lot of men want to respect our boundaries, want us to feel comfortable. So for the majority of men, the potential of making us uncomfortable is not worth it to them, so they're not gonna even bother approaching us. Men also don't want to pursue us if we're not gonna make any effort in return. At that point, it's just a waste of time, and he could spend that time pursuing his hobbies or building his career.
I've never believed in a woman with purple hair, but she's right about what she said. The majority, better said 80%, of men barely receive any attention from women. Only 20% of men get all the benefits. That's why those Facebook groups like, "Are we dating the same guy?" were invented, because women were all dating the same chat over and over again. And that's due to women's selection. Another thing is, most women used to say they didn't go to bars or restaurants because men wouldn't leave them alone and let them enjoy their girls' night out. Now that men aren't approaching them, aren't paying for their food or buying them free drinks, they complain that there are no masculine men because they can't go out and drink for free like they used to. Seeing these complaints from women makes me realize that men are changing. They know they have to value themselves and not give away their attention to a woman just because she has a pretty face and a bad attitude. Value yourself, men, because you are worth a lot. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think are the reasons men aren't approaching women? Do you think modern women are having trouble dating because of feminism? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.